Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Cinema Savvy News. It's myself, George, joined by Chris Pagano tonight, and we don't actually have a lot to discuss. If you've seen the thumbnail, the title, the main news is the Last Jedi trailer. We've already done, what, 3 videos already on our channel for this.
Almost been like an unofficial Star Wars month before December, which is our official Star Wars month.
Yeah, and I mean, we've got more than just talk about the trailer. We've got some other stuff with it, a lot of news, but we need to kind of address, but vaguely address, the elephant in the room. Harvey Weinstein, let's just call him a cunt.
Yeah.
There's a police investigation. We don't want to talk about it. This is the thing. There's investigations going on. You will know the news by now. It's disgusting. It's wrong. But we don't want to talk about it because we do film news. But we do the kind of, I want to say the fun news. Like, you know how awkward it is when we have like death segments, and this is just disgusting segments. So
yeah, this is like personal stuff, isn't it? And like involving a lot of people, like a lot of fucked up stuff. So.
Yeah, this is like the Jimmy Savile of basically Hollywood now. This is what I'm comparing it as for British people that wouldn't know what that meant. But yeah, so let's call him a cunt. Let's move on. Star Wars, Chris.
Yes.
Yeah. We had a trailer drop this week for The Last Jedi.
Yeah, we spoke about it for about an hour, didn't we? I think 45 minutes to an hour. We went through pretty much frame by frame all the way through. Yeah, so the trailer's been released, and you were giving me some facts and figures before. I think it's the 4th highest viewed trailer, isn't it? Behind it and a bunch of other randoms like Thor as well.
Yeah, they announced like literally half an hour ago a statement saying thank you all, blah blah blah, for supporting us. On the first 24 hours, we had 129 million views across all platforms. That's the 4th highest ever. First is it. Second, I've forgotten second already.
Yeah, wait as well.
Sorry, Fast 8.
That's it.
Fast 8 was second. Third was Thor Ragnarok, and 4th is The Last Jedi. And they also put in the same paragraph, like, we can't. It's less than 2 months now until you guys find out what happened with Luke, Rey, Kylo Ren, Snoke, and ... the Porgs.
They just got to get them in there, haven't they? They got to get them in there. I've said my piece on the Porgs. Like, I will wait until the movies come out. I'm enjoying the memes though while they're out. They're always good. And yeah, tickets are on sale now. As of when the trailer came out, it was early for us in the morning. It was like 7 a.m. We've got tickets. We've got IMAX in London, which is going to be great. We're going to the double bill of Force Awakens and Last Jedi. Not too hot on that, but it'll be 4 hours of Star Wars. So I guess it's going to get me in the mood, hopefully.
Yeah, and what they also said is that in that statement that the UK pre-sale has been apparently the biggest pre-sale ever so far for a film, which is mental because it's 2 months off. And in America, they reckon most midnight screenings are sold out.
Yeah, well, my local's actually got 4 one in 3D, 2 in 2D, and then there's 1 in 2D with subtitles at the midnight, which is insane.
I've never seen that. That's mental. But yeah, so if you haven't got your tickets, you're either not going at midnight, probably not even the opening day anymore, and you're too late. The likelihood you have, and as well as tickets, the trailer, they did debut a brand new poster for us, the official theatrical poster. I'm in a massive minority that I don't like it that much. I know some people love it, but I think I'm so attached to that first trailer, how like beautiful that was. It's a theatrical one, but I'm looking at my episode 7 poster and I don't know. I just don't like the episode 8 one. There's something off about it. I don't know. That's just me. That is just me.
See, I liked it, but I will acknowledge, like, it's cliche as fuck as a poster. Like, it's not doing anything we haven't seen. It's the typical character collage, which I guess the last couple of Star Wars films have done. I don't know. I didn't have a problem with it. I liked the first poster, how he had like the lightsaber light sort of going after that A New Hope theatrical poster, and it was like dividing the light side and the dark side. That was cool. They've kind of dropped that for this one. I don't know. I still thought it was all right. I do like the color scheme, though, that they've been doing with The Last Jedi, not just in terms of the posters, but the merchandise as well. They've got that white and red clash. I think that's really cool. Going, obviously, probably like from that planet that's in the movie.
Right.
The crystals.
Yeah, I adore what they're doing with it. Like, when episode 7 came out, all the merch, we had the Kylo Ren artwork. Each year they have a specific artwork program to go on all the merch with that. You had the Kylo Ren one, which was cool back then, but all the episode 8 stuff, just looking at them, there's something so pleasing about red and white. Not that I'm an Arsenal fan as well. Also, Dave Ridley's been announced as an Arsenal fan this week, which is as good news. But everything about this film is just getting better and better, and I just can't wait. Like, here I am drinking out of like my Star Wars glass, and it's still hyped as hell. But yeah, there's a poster too. If you want to buy that, it's up to you. But the first one is better. The first one feels a bit fresher. Like you haven't seen that poster design. It's so like you said, it's so cliched. Like Marvel do it, this does it, DC do it, every blockbuster does it. Whereas it was the retro classic with the light and the dark on it. So it's simple, but it felt unique to this film.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of comments.
Okay.
Brinsley, I'm going to go and wing it and go there without pre-booking a ticket.
You're a very brave man, Brinsley.
Yes, I've already put you've got no chance. And then Auburn's put, what do we think of pre-sale tickets? Does it take away the suspense of fun for waiting for a movie to come out or waiting in line with a bunch of other people who are as excited as this? Do you think it's unfair? Myself, no, because if I travel down to London to get told that I can't watch this at the Leicester Square IMAX, I would go fucking apeshit mental at someone. All that traveling for that, and I don't want to stand in the street for 3 hours. I hate standing still. Conventions are bad enough. So I'm organised. Them tickets come early. There are plans A, B, and C. If you're prepared, then you can have your ticket. That's the way I see it. That's the fair way of doing things.
It is cool though when you see footage of
I was gonna say
around the block. That stuff's cool. But
if you had like a time machine, I've always said one of the things I'd love to do is that episode 1 opening night, just because of the atmosphere and everything. Like there's something like cool about the old style, but I think in the modern era it would never work. Especially now you have all like the mainstream fans that think they're in the know. One thing I will say about this week. All the plastic fans are back out. The ones that don't ever talk about Star Wars, but because it's been spoken about again, they're suddenly the biggest fans in the world. And you ask them what order would you watch the films in, they can't give you a reply. I've booked 4 tickets the first 3 days, and they're all with different social groups. They're all with people that I'm, if I'm asking you to watch a Star Wars film, then that's a big deal. That's so sad. But it's the sense that I'm gonna go with the right people. Yeah, I'll review at midnight. But
it's
this
like
I've got the right
you
social
have
groups.
to like pencil schedule people in, don't you? You got like, right, this is my month of December. I am free at this time on this day. I'm seeing the movie with this person on this day. I can't fit you in then. It is like,
I actually have it here. If everyone watching, if you look at the screen, this is my plan at work. I mean, you can't be able to see it, which is good. It's got personal details on. That is my schedule that I wrote on Sunday for getting everyone's tickets for all the screenings.
I'm not going to like pause the video now and try and work out everything you've got written on that.
It's like got like my bank account on there, and I'm like, shit. It's great. I mean, when we get there, it's midnights have been. I think the Rogue One midnight. There was one screening which we went to. That was fine. It wasn't. It was a spin-off film. It was decent. But Episode 7, my cinema had 6 screenings, and there was like 100 people outside before the film. Some people, for where I live, some people being dressed up is a big deal, and I didn't go, but 3 guys braved it, and I had a lot of respect for them, although I laughed at them as well. I'm just so excited to go to London because I think this is going to be the closest thing to that mental atmosphere. Like, this is the second biggest cinema in England. And I mean, I'm not going dressed up. No, I have rose, but I'm going to melt. But I will be wearing a piece of merchandise that I can't tell anyone I'm buying it. That's going to look fucking awesome. So I can't wait for it.
And for me, it'll be like a proper IMAX experience. Like I technically have done IMAX. I think it was a bit of a sort of like budget version of an IMAX. So when I went to see Dunkirk, I wasn't all too happy with the sound quality when I went to see that. But I know that what I'm going to get with this IMAX in London is going to be the IMAX that I hope for, and it's going to be a Star Wars movie. That's going to be my first time, so I can't wait.
We have a comment from Phil, but at least I didn't pay 30 quid. Chris, I'm going to break some news. So obviously our tickets are £29, right?
Yeah.
Every other IMAX in England, away from London, £17.
Is that just for the movie?
That's the double bill. Every other IMAX is £17, and they've decided to con the entirety of London. I know. I literally found out yesterday.
Isn't it? Like, they're going to know that people are going to spend it.
But also, if you do your research, I believe John Boyega rocked up to the midnight showing at Leicester Square for Episode 7. So
might get it signed.
Fingers crossed. But yes, I guess that's. Oh, sorry, Shea, we didn't invite you, but there's another chance. Don't worry. I can pencil you in another time. Should we move on from Star Wars? Like we could legitimately just talk about like.
Yeah, we could.
I mean, even with the trailer, just go find the memes. There's some brilliant videos. Go watch our video. We spoke about an hour on it. Chris has got a reaction. It's great. He also cut an amazing Logan version, which you can only watch on desktop. Should we tell him a bit of behind the scenes about that?
Yeah, so I think it was after we'd finished going live, wasn't it?
Was it the screenshot of mine where I was so in the mood at 3 a.m. on Monday? Was it Monday? Yeah, technically Tuesday morning actually. That I when the trailer went up, I was I think 600. I was the 620th view on the Star Wars official YouTube channel, which now has over 20 million views. So put that into perspective, I was 636, I think. I sent a screenshot and I sent it to you and Tate, and you're like, "Oh look, you've got Johnny Cash Hurt Pain in the corner," and I was like, "Yeah." And then who came? Was it all of us? Kind of. Well,
I think it was Tate mentioned like, let's try and watch the trailer with Johnny Cash's Hurt in the background. And
I think did I say like, well, Logan basically is Luke, and then you merged the trailer and watched, and it worked, and it's magnificent. So check that out. That was really awesome.
It's fun to make as well. I mean, it took all day. I was on that thing all day, and then I got it uploaded at the night time. But it was good fun putting it together.
Brindley, wait, why are you going to London just for the IMAX? Because
it Star Wars?
Well, there's an IMAX half an hour away from me in Birmingham, which is fine. Screenings, my third and fourth viewings have already got booked. For fuck's sake. But when I watched episode 7 at that London IMAX, nothing competes with that. It's like I think it's the second biggest cinema in the country. It's about 3 times the size of the Birmingham IMAX, which is a really decent size as well. It is enormous, and the atmosphere is going to be mental, and it's just an awesome place to watch it. All the mentalists are going to be there. It's Leicester Square. So if you want to go down for that, and I think that'd be really awesome. And hopefully we can get a video out afterwards, as in
if we can
like with some like crowd and stuff, like with people around talking. I think it'll be a better experience watching the film there. But yes, I don't want to not talk about Star Wars.
We just need to talk about Star Wars again, don't we?
Well, we will with Pacific Rim later. I guess that just counts John Boyega. But yes, guys, keep commenting about Star Wars though, and we'll talk about it at the end. Next up, though, this is actually some good news as well. Do you want to take this one?
Yes. So one of my favorite film series of all time, other than Star Wars, is the Rocky franchise, and it's been confirmed that Sylvester Stallone will be directing Creed 2. I'm really, really happy about this news. I mean, Stallone has directed Rocky 2, 3, 4, and Rocky Balboa, all fantastic movies, yes, including Rocky 4, guilty pleasure movie of mine. It's a bit of a shame that Ryan Coogler isn't coming back because I really liked what he did with Creed. It's probably my favorite sort of reboot or like continuation, software, whatever you want to call Creed, whatever it is. It's my favorite. I think he handled it perfectly. He had advanced the character of Rocky and also introduced Creed, but it was still Creed's own movie. And with like the little bits of story details that Sylvester Stallone's been putting on Twitter about that Ivan Drago might be coming back and it's about his son, you're going to have that clash with Creed. You can have Rocky try to come to terms, maybe put aside his past differences with Ivan Drago. I'm really excited about this. And Stallone's a great director as well. So he's, he knows the franchise, he knows the character. And I don't think he'll go back to silly Rocky. Like that was very much a product of his time in the 80s. He's cemented it back now to the more serious Rocky. And I think he'll continue that.
I'm down with this. I adored Creed. That was honestly one of the best. Like I was looking forward to it, but I don't think anyone anticipated it to be like good in terms of an actual well-made film. Like we knew it'd have that good Rocky vibe that's fun, chilled out, but I didn't think it'd be like that good a drama piece that would be nominated for Oscars and stuff.
I marathoned them all about 3 weeks ago. I just had I took like a week out and just like watched all the Rocky movies and Creed, and it still holds up. Still great. And
I can't wait to see what they do. I mean, we know Ivan Drago's going to be back. Yeah. I'm just excited to see what I'm good. Ryan Coogler's not coming back. However, because he was the one that did pitch the idea of Creed to Sylvester Stallone originally. But I think Sylvester Stallone's mature enough to get this Creed film done properly. I think Michael B. Jordan's an excellent actor. Can't wait to see him in Black Panther next year, and obviously seeing the Rocky film as well. Creed 2. Call it Creed 2, but it's still Rocky, isn't it? Maybe not at the end of this film there won't be a Rocky, but I honestly can't wait.
When I saw the trailers for the first Creed, I broke my heart watching that movie, not knowing how it was going to end. But I think if they're going to do it, because I'd like to see the Creed franchise go the distance, just like Rocky did, and have like 6 of them, 7 of them, whatever. So if they're going to follow the same path as the Rocky films, then I guess Rocky's going to die midway through.
Do a trilogy. Creed trilogy, wrap up a really good trilogy. Probably one of the best sport films last couple of years. But a lot of people are going to be excited for this, and it's took a lot longer to sort of get announced than they thought. We know he's been working on it. If you follow him on Instagram, you get full caps of his updates when he's doing filming and stuff. But yeah, that is Creed 2. Next up, we've got to talk Halloween because we know how there's a new Halloween film in production. John Carpenter's come out and said this film is a direct sequel to the original, unlike the other films. Just like Terminator 3, just like Terminator, 4, 5, 6, Genesis, whatever you want to call them. Isn't this a trend now to, this is the sequel I really wanted to do, but I didn't do because all the others were crap?
Well, at this point, John, he doesn't give a shit. Like, he's making money from this. He'll make a whole lot of money from this. Like, with the Big Trouble in Little China remake they want to do as well. Like, he always stands there and endorses it and, like, says his bit that he needs to. And then he rakes in the paycheck because he gets a percentage from it. They did a direct sequel to Halloween. It was called Halloween 2. And I think they did a sequel to the remake as well, didn't they? The Rob Zombie one. So this will technically be, like, the third sequel to Halloween, I guess. Like, this is the third time we've had a Halloween 2. I don't know. I don't care. I really don't. It's going to be terrible. It won't capture the magic of the first one. And the first one, I mean, when the first Halloween film came out with Jamie Lee Curtis, it was arguably like one of the first slasher movies that ever came out, and which launched like an entire, like other characters like Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th, countless other slasher films. But the trope's just been done to death now. Like, we need something new. And I don't know if going back to Halloween, even a sequel, I don't think there's an outcry for it anymore. I think the whole buzz has died down on the Halloween franchise at this point.
I couldn't care less. I don't like horror films. I don't think I've even seen Halloween. But it's one of them where, it's the slasher film. Oh, look, Jamie Lee Curtis survived. Mm-hmm. Was it really hard to guess that? No, it really wasn't. Well,
the thing is with that was like one of the first ones that did it. So it is. I do like the first Halloween film.
I think it's one of them where, because of I've said this years ago, because of The Force Awakens, and this is The Force Awakens' fault vaguely. Maybe you can put Tron Legacy on this too. Mm-hmm. When you bring back not just a franchise after a long time out, when you bring back the original characters from the originals, bringing back Kevin Bridges and Tron, bringing back the original
Jeff Bridges.
Yes, I was getting. Do you know what I mean?
His brother Kevin.
I think Kevin Bridges is a shit comedian. That might be why. When you get the original trio reuniting from Star Wars, we're gonna get the Harry Potter trio reunite for 19 years later in a Cursed Child trilogy. We're already getting Halloween. What other ones are there? It's now becoming a trend to bring people back to a Blade Runner. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a trend now to bring back cast members. Indiana Jones. That's just Harrison Ford wanting to kill all his characters. Mm-hmm. That's not a spoiler for Blade Runner. That's not a spoiler for Blade Runner. Yeah. That's a very good film. Watch that as well. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be a thing now, and it's like, oh look, another one. Terminator. Arnie does it every time. And obviously they're bringing back Thingy Bob, Terminator 6.
Yeah.
So it's
the thing is, like, if Jamie Lee Curtis does come back for it,
she's already announced.
She's already come back for a Halloween film. I think it was Halloween H2O, which was, they called it that because it was 20 years after. It's a fucking terrible name for a film, but they called it that, and she came back for that. She's come back for Halloween films before, so it's not anything new in that way. But I'm guessing it's going to just like discredit all the other ones, like what Terminator 6 is doing. I just don't care. I really don't care. It will be exactly the same film as Halloween 1, but with more jump scares in it and just infinitely more unlikable people.
Yeah, it's a trend that's going to kick off with cinema, and it's it's going to happen. There'll be more, but I don't care for this. Speed films that you seemed to care about, though.
Yeah.
Disney have scrapped the animated film called Gigantic Brackets is basically Jack and the Beanstalk. Mm-hmm. They've been working on this for a long time. There's been concept art posters. Yeah. I think it was originally due out in 2018. They postponed it to 2020. They've one of the guys has come out like this week and said this isn't happening anymore. We just can't. Basically, we can't get it to work. They've spent too much time on it, so we're just gonna cut our losses, and we're moving on to other projects. Keywords for now. Someone was quick to point out that Disney spent 30 years trying to get the Ice Queen film coming out, which eventually became Frozen. So maybe in 30 years there'll be a Jack and the Beanstalk horrific #1 chart, Let It Go type song. Let it grow. There we go. Let it grow. But no, I mean, you're the animated guy. This is for you to take.
Yeah, so I want to say that this was sort of like originally announced around the time that Brave got announced. The Brave originally was called The Princess and the Bear, I think, The Bow and the Bear, I think it was called. Originally, then you can tell, like, even watching that movie, you can tell there was like a lot of cooks in the kitchen that made that the movie that it was. And then it went to like Pixar Studios and everything like that. It was a complete mess of a movie, in my opinion. But yeah, no, Gigantic's been around for a long time. As I said, they had a poster. I think one of the jokes was it in Zootopia? I don't know if you've seen that one where there's like a sort of like bootleg DVD salesman, and there's like a shot where it like looks at the DVDs, and it was all the upcoming Disney movies with like a slightly different title. You had like Wreck-It Ralph 2 in there, you had Frozen 2, and they had Gigantic. But yeah, no, I'm really let down by this because I thought this had potential. Like, this isn't the first time that Disney have adapted Jack and the Beanstalk. They did in 1947. There was a little sort of like animated segment in Fun and Fancy Free, which was one of the animated classics where they did Jack and the Beanstalk with Mickey Mouse. But what was the reason they gave for this? That they just couldn't make it work? Or...
They can't make it work, whatever that means. I mean, the thing is, it's not really original, but it is. But this would have made money even if I guess they probably just wanted to put a decent film out, because at the minute, I would honestly say that the Disney animated for the first time in arguably in my lifetime is, I think, vaguely stronger than Pixar right now.
Yeah.
In a year, it's probably going to go back to I think Pixar looks favourable for the next few years, but Pixar, I don't think are in the best state at the minute. Coco, I think, looks awful. Cars 3, been and gone, no one cares. Finding Dory.
We've got Incredibles 2.
Yeah, that's the thing. The slate's looking better for the future, but at the minute, I think a lot more people are actually starting to look forward to animated more. Like, even thinking of Moana. We've got what's coming out. Well, unfortunately, Frozen 2 is eventually coming.
Next year. Sorry, they didn't do an animated classic this year. Next year, it's Wreck-It Ralph 2 and Frozen 2. So
it's very interesting, but I hope that they haven't shelved this film to do another sequel, though. I doubt they have, because said they've...
That's what I thought. When you told me that this was canned, I was thinking, right, what are they going to do next? Are they going to do Big Hero 6 2? Are they going to do Tangled 2? Like, if that's the era that Disney are going in now, where they're just going to do sequels to their big films, I understand from a money reason why they do that. Like, Disney has changed from the Disney that I loved from like the 90s, like Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, where every film every year was different. It was original. Well, like, you know, based on something, but like originally in terms of Disney. And now we're just getting the sequels. I really hope that's not the case. And I don't buy it for a second when they say they couldn't make it work. Like, yes, the Jack and the Beanstalk is quite a, you know, A to B to C narrative. Like, it's very simple and they'd have to drag it out. But you could have added new stuff in there. You could have got creative with it. Seeing like the Giants world above the clouds would have been great. Maybe they wanted to try and get away from, what was it, Jack the Giant Slayer, or whatever it was called, the Bryan Singer movie. I don't know. Well, I'm let down by this. I was looking forward to this one. It was going to be that next sort of like original Disney film, and now I'm not going to get it. Now I guess I'm just going to get another sequel, probably.
Frozen 3.
Nice. Frozen 2 is going to be fucking huge. That's going to... Jesus.
Is it? I think they're attaching like a 20-minute short to Coco of Olaf, isn't it?
Watch me show up to that screening 20 minutes late.
Speaking of Josh Gad, I won't lie. He had the best Twitter reaction to the Star Wars trailer. He simply tweeted, "Daisy, I have a few more questions," that made me laugh. Yeah, that's. I don't want to watch Coco, and that puts me off even more.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to Coco. Like, I think it'll be good. I think it will surprise people, but it's not one of those Pixar films that's like really accessible.
I think it is like a Brave. Like, it might be fine, but no one really cares about it in a couple of years. I don't think it's got the hype of the Inside Outs or the other ones like that. But at least it's original and it's vaguely interesting with the Day of the Dead and stuff like that. Mm. Moving on, vaguely Disney. So the premiere of Thor Ragnarok was this week. It's due out, not next Tuesday, the week after over here in UK. I think America gets to the Friday. For the premiere, Taika Waititi, he's been linked with directing Akira recently. And they did. So I think someone asked him on the red carpet and he's come out and says, well, I'll make sure I'm not going to whitewash the cast if I do end up directing this film. I think by him saying that basically means he is directing it, because he wouldn't be talking about casting choices otherwise. But that's a very, not PC thing to say, but that's probably the right thing to say given the state of anime films being remade. Yeah. Tate's the anime man. I know you've seen Akira, but he's the one that's going to like sit there like telling you exactly who needs to be cast and why.
Yeah. Like I watched Akira. I have an opinion on it, and that's about as far as I go with that film. Tate could talk for like half hour on that film, probably, and like read into it and everything like that. I'm fine with him directing it. In terms of this, like whitewashing the cast, I don't know how much of a say he has in the casting. Like, surely that would be a studio thing. Like, if they want to get a bit, like with Ghost in the Shell, for example, when they got Scarlett Johansson, they're gonna want to go for like a big name star to draw people to a film. Like, what happens in Akira if he translates that into live action? People are going to be completely alienated from this movie.
They and they'll think it's Tron 3.
What the fuck this film is?
And they'll think it's Tron 3, which they should have been production anyway.
Yeah.
Also, funny bit of news: Mark Ruffalo did an Instagram live video at the premiere. He accidentally was streaming the film. I don't know if that's ever been made before. That's a rookie mistake, but I wonder if we'll get fined like $8 million like you do for piracy.
Made so many mistakes, bless him, in like interviews and stuff, like letting information slip.
Yeah, I think there's another one. I don't know the concrete, but he's like, oh yeah, something happened with Universal. We don't have the rights to do a Hulk film, so the Hulk's going to have a story that concludes across the 3 Avenger films and starting with Ragnarok. And I'm there like, well, we know you've made it past the first Infinity War film, don't we? I mean, he probably would have anyway, but yeah, I love Mark Ruffalo. He's like so nervous in like a calm and casual way. Like, absolutely adore him. He literally is Bruce Banner in real life. That's the way I see him. But yeah, that's Thor stuff. We'll have more on that. I can't wait for that. I love Taika Waititi. He's jokes.
I'm gonna have to watch that film that you watch. What is it? What We Do in the Shadows?
What We Do in the Shadows.
I'm gonna have to watch that before Thor, I think, just to sort of get clued up on his style.
It's honestly, if you love, I mean, my second favorite sitcom of all time is Parks and Rec. Adore like The Office. I love the sort of a mockumentary. It's like a mockumentary but with vampires in modern day, and it's legitimately one of the funniest films I'd seen in a very, very long time. My one and only appearance on the Film Club channel, and thank God I got that film.
Was it back in episode 2, wasn't it?
I think so. Even though I've seen some of the ones, I've seen Superbad, I've seen a couple of other films, but it's your show now.
We're wrapping up series 1 next week, which is episode 12. So
okay, 12 episodes. Not the Netflix 13.
No.
Right, Pacific Rim. Oh, this is very struggling. The trailer came out, actually. I guess we should say it first. I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed the first. I thought it could have been slightly better. It was a great idea, not executed properly. I really hope the second one's good. Like I said, it's a film I switched my brain off to.
It looks like a whole lot more robots fighting monsters. So
yeah, what more do you want?
Can't fault it for that. Yeah.
Starring Finn. What's the bet? There's a Star Wars reference somewhere. Right. So Steve tonight has come out and been talking about. He's the director, and this is now, I think, is it Warner Bros.'s 3rd or 4th cinematic universe on the go? His command says, someone asks, "What is this going to be a cinematic universe?" He goes, "I think you're definitely going to get comics. The plan was always to use this film as a launching pad. If enough people show up, we've already talked about the 3rd film and how the end of the 3rd movie is going to expand the universe to a Star Wars, Star Trek style franchise where you can go in many, many different directions. You can go main canon, you can go spin-offs, you can go one-offs. That's our plan. I myself would love to see an animated TV show."
Yeah. No, so I was going to say, if it's going to fit anything, like I can see it in like anime form, like a kind of Gurren Lagann. That was like a series that was lent to me, which had like big mechs. But then again, it's like Japanese anime. In pretty much every single one has a giant mech in there somewhere.
I just want Trey Parker and Matt Stone to like voice the kaiju. That would make that. I mean, the South Park's already actually done giant robots versus giant monsters in like season 2, I think. But
yeah.
I see. I did like the first one. Looking forward to the second. I don't like the whole. Well, we've mapped out our cinematic universe, especially
stop this.
Not this early.
Yeah.
The fact he's actually said, if enough people show up, because this was very lucky to get a sequel. It made all right in America and Europe, but this really made its money when it came out in like Asia and Japan. Naturally, it would do. To me, the only place this can go is with Godzilla, but that's its own cinematic universe. And for anyone that cares, Warner Bros. The first cinematic universe, Justice League. Cinematic universe number 2 are technically Hobbit and Lord of the Rings because they've done and connected them more. They've milked it. Number 3, you've got Godzilla and King Kong, the monsters sort of universe. You've got now a Pacific Rim universe, and I swear there was a 5th one. Sorry, the Lego universe. Yeah. Warner Bros. If you make one good film, you get 10 out of it. Yeah.
Did you include DC in that? I think
I did at the start.
Oh, okay, that's fair enough.
There's for anyone that likes South Park, again, there was this week. The episode was a 20-minute prequel to the game next week. It's a whole piss take of superheroes, the Avengers versus DC. It's the Coon and Friends. Coon is in because Cartman's a raccoon, not because he's a stereotype of ethnicity. They sit there taking the piss, and they're like, you can start your own cinematic universe. It could be shit halfway through and stop like DC. That made me laugh. It's honestly, I can't wait for the game next week. But just try and focus on a good film. Don't sit there thinking it's supposed to. We know a film like giant robots and giant monsters is going to get sequels, and that always has potential. But how can you map out a story about giant robots and giant aliens?
I don't know if you can. Just get different like robot designs, I guess. Just make it like Power Rangers, like a new villain every week, a new different monster they've got to beat. Or
who distributed Power Rangers? Maybe they'll do a crossover of that as well.
I don't know. It was it Saban's Power Rangers? Was that it? He kind of owns Power Rangers. He's not parting with that. He's not doing anything with that. He's keeping that right where it is. I'd rather see a sequel to Power Rangers than Pacific Rim, in all honesty. Hopefully we're getting that sequel.
I wasn't really on board until they got John Boyega. I think he's got so much charisma that I'm down with it. Very clever marketing, set up his own production company. He's actually producing the film as well.
Was it Charlie Hunnam was the main guy, wasn't it?
In the first one. Yeah, he's gone.
No charisma. No charisma. Maybe that will help this movie with John Boyega.
The idea was there. Idris Elba was good in that. I really enjoyed Idris Elba in that film. Actually had a decent story arc. And it just wasn't what it should have been. I still enjoyed it, but I was so hyped for it. And I think Guillermo del Toro, like, it was a passion project of his which got made, but it would have been better with the second, like, looking at the bigger picture. Like, you're going to go to this film, I don't want to see a robot take 20 seconds to, like, swing a fist to punch a giant. And the best bits were actually cut. It does the first one appeared, and then it took 6 months to destroy. Then we move on like 10 years later. Whereas everyone wanted to actually see the origin of the entirety of all this. That we wanted to see him take out that first one. Wanted to see what happened next. Whereas it was straight 10 years in the future. Charlie Hunnam, just depressing and boring. It was.
I just love that Guillermo del Toro left The Hobbit to make a movie about giant monsters versus giant robots. Like, fair play.
I would do the same. I mean, there's only so much time we can spend around New Zealand, right?
Yeah, or a green screen.
Actually, I was going to say there's not really much of New Zealand.
Maybe we would have got New Zealand if it had been Guillermo del Toro. We certainly didn't get much of it in the finished product.
Right, should we move on from Pacific Rim?
Do it. Let's do it.
Speaking of cinematic universes, last week we had the breaking news that the Jason Statham and The Rock is going to be starring in the first Fast and Furious spin-off film. At least it's earned its cinematic universe after 8 showings. After 8 films, you can understand them wanting to do one spin-off, not the other way around. And Tyrese, there's been a lot of drama with Tyrese recently. That there was the rumors The Rock and Vin Diesel had fell out on not episode 8 of Fast 8. Tell what mode we're in right now. I mean, this is as dramatic as a soap opera to be an episodic series, but let's leave it at that. And basically, when the film got announced, Tyrese, the guy that's desperate to play the Green Lantern, which says a lot about his potential, that he went and got hired for that, he wrote a load of shit about The Rock on Instagram. And as a fanboy of The Rock, but also someone that likes film, the cheek on Tyrese, whose entire career comes down to sponging off the Fast and Furious family and being the human that people that like less than Josh Duhamel in Transformers, to give shit to The Rock, who's like single-handedly saved this franchise, Tyrese's job, Tyrese's only living money, I thought was ridiculous because I think he's just trying to get attention. Like, you've broke up the family, it's been delayed 1 year, blah blah blah. He put a video up of The Rock chatting shit about.
He spent all his money from Fast 8 already. He needs that Fast 9, and now it's been delayed. He's going to be broke.
Like, I just don't get your problem. Like,
yeah,
The Rock's pitched this idea, and he's got Statham in as well. Like, just because unless he knows, like, shit, less people are going to watch it now. Like with Pete, it's too late. But don't sit there. If you've got issues, take it with him in person. Like, The Rock's bigger than that. He hasn't said anything in public at all. He's not retaliated to him or anything like that. Whereas Tyrese is sitting there on Instagram. He put a video up that The Rock recorded as a joke 3 years ago, and they were mates. Like him taking the piss out of Tyrese's album, just trying to get dramas, and it's just pointless. Like, let the man do his Fast and Furious film. He saved yours. He saved your career. Let him have 2 hours of his own.
Well, they're just bringing all that like ego and machismo that you get in the movies, but like into real life behind the scenes. I mean, we had Vin Diesel, now we've got Tyrese, so I mean, it's still going to get made. Like, who does, even as a Fast and Furious fan, like, who doesn't want to see that movie with The Rock and Statham? You know,
Precisely.
I sure as shit do. And I want to see Fast 9 as well. I want to see both of these movies. Like, why? They're both going to get made. Like, obviously, nothing's going to change. But with this, I think it's going to put The Rock certainly in a weird situation when it comes to Fast 9. But then again, surely it's a studio thing. Like, if they don't put The Rock in, he's a huge sell. If they take him out, will that have a knock-on effect?
Yeah, because he was all over the Fast 7 advertising, and he had like what 3 scenes in that film.
Yeah,
and he was all over it, the trailers, everything, because they know he is the guy.
Fast 8, all the scenes that people talk about, or certainly like the most scenes are with The Rock and Statham. So again, it's The Rock. You know,
it's his
take
baby.
Part of family, and I don't want to break up the family with this one.
Well, it seems Tyrese is that cousin that's fallen out of everyone. The other thing as well, the director being circled to do this spin-off film is why have I forgotten his name? Shane Black. Which makes me want to watch this even more.
Well, he'll be finished with Predator, won't he? Predator comes out, or The Predator, or whatever it's called, comes out
next year,
and then he's free.
I think. I mean, he can do comedy really well. I know some people just only judge him on Fireman Man 3, but look at Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Nice Guys. When he wants to be funny, he can be very funny, and he can do action as well. I know people don't like Iron Man 3, but I thought the action scenes were great in that when they had them. But him directing The Rock and Statham, a duo with chemistry, it's something that's going to be absolutely hilarious.
Well, it's something he's good at. I mean, he wrote the script for Lethal Weapon. Arguably the best sort of like buddy cop series, film ever, really. And as you said, like The Nice Guys, which was a really underrated film a couple of years ago, similar style. Like if he brings that and he just lets The Rock and Statham do their thing, bring that improv into it again, like how can that go wrong? That to me, that sounds like a match made in heaven. It's a movie I want to see.
Definitely, I think everyone does except Tate. Moving on from that, Marvel. This is the last bit. This is how little news there is. Marvel are going to be publishing an official timeline for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Kevin Feige announced it. There's no release date. I don't even know if it's going to be like a poster or a book or a video. I don't know how they're going to do it.
I think it'd be cool if they did a poster just before Infinity War comes out, like all leading up to it, maybe.
Like a flowchart and stuff. It'd be awesome.
Or at the end of like these phases, once Infinity War Part 2 comes out, they release that. That's your first chunk. We move on to the next one.
Yeah, the next 30 years.
That's a depressing thought. Don't make me think about that.
I'm down for this timeline. Like, I do like the MCU. There's so much credit to it. I think it's been very, very easy to follow. And then it depends how deep they want to go. It's going to be like one of the visual guides like you get with Star Wars, where everything's in order. Are they going to put the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episodes in Daredevil? But film-wise, the main issue was where Homecoming is set, because I swear they say like 8 years later or something crap like that. It is bizarre. But then you've also got Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which is set months after the first Guardians film, which means it's actually before Avengers 2, let alone. So it's all over the place. It'd be good to get some clarification. It'll be before Infinity War, I guess. It would make sense to be that, especially as like a big recap video for everyone to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to see. As I said, like we talked about that in our Homecoming review, didn't we? About sort of the discrepancy there with the time, and it kind of messed everything up. But it's fine. I don't really care to see one, in all honesty. Like I'm not that into the MCU where I need to know. I just kind of, I show up, I pay my money, I see the film, I talk about the film, and then we move on to the next Marvel film a couple of months after, and that's really it for me.
It's not even very hard to follow as well. Let's be honest.
And you get to a point as well, like even with Homecoming, like we both hated that movie anyway, but like, do we care? Like it just gets with other franchises and stuff like that. If you were really into it, if there was this whole legacy, like Star Wars, for example, then yeah, maybe I would like some clarification in terms of canon and things like that. But with Marvel, I don't really care. I'll just show the movie. I'll switch off my brain. I'll be entertained for a couple of hours, and that's it. I don't really need to go all in depth with it.
Definitely. Right, that's the news done.
That'll do it. Yeah.
Next up is box office breakdown. Start with some very upsetting news. Blade Runner's opening weekend was only 32 million domestic. I think it was 80 million worldwide. it's more than that. I think it was about some 40 mil worldwide. So it was no, we've got it mixed up. I think it opened with about 60, 70 worldwide total. And now it's on 90 mil. Its opening was 30. It was expected to get between 45, 55. The reviews are outstanding. The reception has been very, very good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think you did.
Yeah.
It's probably I mean, I've ranked it off the bat. It's my second best film of the year so far. Very close, better than Detroit. Not as good as Dunkirk, but it's very fine. That fine line between them all. And I was kind of disappointed.
That's really the first one, isn't it? And it was kind of.
Well,
I don't know how much the first one made, but I know
it made 30 million in its entire run. So I mean, this has made more. But I think with this, it's more. Someone compared it to Zoolander 2, and I laughed until I actually read what they said, and it's a good thing that Zoolander 2 was the biggest cult comedy film, and eventually they made the second film, and I liked Zoolander 2. I'm one of those, and it had such a big cult. It was the biggest comedy cult following film, and then not enough people showed up when it came out. Blade Runner is the biggest cult sci-fi film ever made, one of the biggest cult films ever. It wasn't a commercial success at release, and in all honesty, I'm not. Now it's happened, I'm not actually surprised it made this, because I don't see many people under the age of 21 going, unless they're really into film and have seen the original. And I don't see too many, I don't see many women going. I think that's been known, and it's selling tickets, the audience, what it's been with. It's very odd, but not surprising it's made this. This was never going to be a juggernaut box office hit. I was thinking more like Dunkirk, it's going to quietly creep about each week, but this is going to be lucky to get 200, 300 mil.
Yeah, and it's a shame when you do get a really good film out like this, but even this, to the defense of how much it's made, I love the film. It's probably going to be in my top 5 at the end of the year, but I'm not mad about rushing back to see it. It's one of those movies where you really have to be in the mood to watch it, and often the case with the cinema, we go because we love films, we talk about films, we try and see all the major releases, but often people just want fun. They just want to go to be entertained or whatever like that, and I don't know if Blade Runner is the kind of film to do that. And with the running time as well, I don't know if that helps. It's a long time to be stuck in the cinema in one place. I mean, I'm fine with it, but I know that some people aren't. They just, 2 hours in, done. It's quite an intense movie to get into. So maybe that's had a knock-on effect. I liked it. I will definitely wait for Blu-ray. I'll pick it up on that. I'll watch it again. But it's got to be a movie that you've got to be in the mood for. And was it next week we get Thor out, or it's the week after that?
Yeah, it's Tuesday the 24th for us. So basically next week.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame because movies like this do deserve more recognition. But
I think
it's how accessible the movie is to people. And it
just
wasn't.
I think with this, it's going to have a good run into the Oscars in terms of I can see it being nominated for quite a few things.
Yeah.
The downside is that Sony are the company; they don't care about that; they care about money. But at the end of the day, Denis Villeneuve took on this project because he wanted to make a sequel to Blade Runner, and I would much rather have a very good Blade Runner sequel that made less money than a shit Blade Runner sequel that made a whole lot of money.
Yeah, and it's not going to have a knock-on effect on Villeneuve's career. People are going to take note of how well this is being reviewed critically and everything like that. He's going to be fine.
If you can make a sequel to Blade Runner, you can make a sequel to almost anything. I mean, Star Wars, that's pressure. That's not hard. It is hard. That's stupid. But to get a Blade Runner sequel right, something so cool, something so fine, something so different, and what happens with that first one, the questions it raises, its reputation. You can't strike lightning twice, and what they did with this is great. Whereas most sequels that are made or reboots and stuff, it's very paint by the numbers, that it follows archetypal stories and stuff like that. Whereas this doesn't. This raised the questions and the boundaries of what happened with that first film, which so everything a sequel should have been. And I'm grateful that I did get to see in the cinema.
Yeah. We talked about that it might open for a third one as well, and we were kind of would we be okay to see that? But at this stage, I don't think we are, and I'm fine with that. Just cut it off this one. Yes, it could have carried on. They could have got something else out of it, but I think, although they don't really follow up on a couple of things at the end of this movie, it's still self-contained enough to be just that, one film sequel done. Leave it at that.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
On to other films. The Mountain Between Us debuted at number 2 of 10 mil. Never heard of it. I'm sorry.
It's the one with Kate Winslet and Idris Elba. It's not meant to be very good at all. I mean, you've got a great cast there in terms of your two leads, great actors, but yeah, no, I haven't heard great things about it. I haven't
Same with
seen
Dark Tower.
Yeah.
It went to number 3 with 9 mil. It's worldwide 606 mil now. That's on par with Logan, which is mental. For a horror film, at least the hype is slowly dying down. Still made more money than My Little Pony, because that's the film everyone wanted to watch. That entered number 4 with 8.8 million. I don't think anyone really wanted to watch that. Imagine choosing between Blade Runner and My Little Pony.
Just take the kids to see it; they'll be fine.
Yeah, they'd probably laugh more than the Little Pony, to be fair. And then Kingsman was number 5 with 8.6 mil. It's on 261 mil worldwide. It's not going to outgross the original, but it's still doing very well. Box office numbers probably sit in the 320s or something like that. But I did enjoy Kingsman.
I forgot that I'd seen that movie until I just saw it in this list here. It really depresses me.
I think they released it at the wrong time of the year. Should have done the February slot like they did for the first film. But yeah, so that's box office breakdown. The preview, this is very interesting. There's a horror film coming out called Happy Death Day, which is I hadn't heard of it till today, and it's expected to get number 1 with 15 to 20 mil.
It looks fucking abysmal.
That's the thing.
So yeah,
but it's being compared to like Get Out, and they think this is going to be one of these really big horror films. Apparently, it's Groundhog Day, except someone dies on her birthday every single day on loop. And it's a horror film.
And she's trying to like work out a killer. But seriously, watch that trailer. It's some of the worst, like laughable acting I've seen all year in a movie. It's so bad. I won't be checking this one out, guys. I won't. Maybe I'll watch it if it does get that like sort of like hilarious, like so bad it's good kind of vibe about it in terms of reviews, then I might check it out. But it looks abysmal in every way.
A great comment by Brizzy. They should have called this Live Die Repeat. Literally. I loved Edge of Tomorrow. I cannot wait for the second one. Blade Runner is expected to take number 2 with 15 mil. And The Foreigner is going to debut at 3 with 10 mil. That Jackie Chan film that everyone shared on Facebook that no one's actually going to go and watch. But that's all the box office. That's all the news for this week. It's been a very quiet week, except Star Wars. I think it's almost as if everyone in the cinema knew. Well, actually, with everything going on with obviously the Harvey Weinstein stuff, there's not really time for this kind of news because there's a bigger picture at hand. Like I said, we don't really want to talk about it yet, not until more things have happened. But for anyone that cares, go on BBC News, go on any actual real news site. Not slagging us off, but this is important. This isn't our kind of thing. We don't know the facts. People do. And more are going to come to light if you do want to find all that stuff out. You know where to look. We've been looking on our own. A lot of dodgy stuff about Twitter's a warfare at the minute, so be careful. But it's very creepy. But we're not going to end on that downer. Go watch the Star Wars trailer.
Yes.
Again.
And go watch all of our Star Wars videos that we've done the last couple of days as well.
Yes, there's loads. It's a couple hours of your time, but it's beautiful as well. And we debuted a new show called Trailer Talk. You know, if you actually watched the news, you realize it was that really, really long segment we had. So we've basically just brought it back for only major trailers, not including the Justice League. But say tomorrow, like the Han Solo trailer come out, then we'd be on that. Say the Infinity War trailer.
Old shows, wasn't it, where we had like a 2-hour show where we do a movie review, we do movie news, we do everything under one roof, and then we've got it streamlined down now. So I think that's probably the best place for Trailer Talk. Like it's not going to be every week. It's just going to be if a big trailer comes out worthy for us to talk about it and analyze it.
I think Black Panther trailer will come very soon.
Yeah.
Probably before Thor. So that could be the next episode. Who knows? Maybe Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5. It wasn't in the news this week, but we still name dropped it. That's one.
I still remember Kate. What is it? Kate Winslet's name of Ronald, whatever it's.
It's just like, is this? What is Ron and the Accused? Like the guy's like Chris Pratt cast. What Chris Pratt cast in this? God, James Cameron. Right, that's been Cinema Savvy News for this week. We will be back next Thursday. Yes, I will be back next Thursday. I'll check my schedule then.
I just want to just sort of like say what's going on with like reaction stuff. So I'm aware that I still need to do a Justice League reaction. Unfortunately, I'm out over the rest of the weekend, and I might not be back until Monday evening. So next week, at least, expect Justice League reaction to the previous trailer that came out for Justice League, and movie reviews. The next two will be The Snowman and Lego Ninjago. Tate's already seen it. I won't be able to get to the cinema until at least Monday or Tuesday, but they will be on the channel. That'll be going on next week.
And yes, I won't be watching any of them films. No,
Maybe you
I'm
catch
gonna. Yeah, I'll be making porg news for everyone, and I need to design a thumbnail still. So that's the main thing, guys. But we will see you next week. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. As Tate say, hit the bell. You'll get notified whenever we do some new content. Check out all of our videos, and we will see you next time.
See you guys.